Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive on something we all deal with, whether we're aware of it or not.
Power dynamics.
You got it,
They're everywhere, right?
everywhere. And to help us unpack this universal truth, we are turning to, well, a classic,
Oh, yeah.
The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene.
This book is like if Machiavelli and Sun Tzu had a strategy, baby.
Okay,
It's all about gaining power, keeping power, even using power. No sugarcoating here.
no, not at all. And from emperors and courtiers to, well, everyday folks like us, this book has some pretty fascinating insights.
Totally. These laws, they're like a crash course in the often unspoken rules of the game.
Exactly. So today we're diving into two laws that I think are particularly relevant, even relatable.
Oh, I completely agree.
Law number one, never outshine the master.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And, we've all been there, right? Maybe you accidentally stole the show during a presentation. Your boss is kind of like looking around.
Yeah. Or maybe you had a really good idea that, your boss presented later as their own. Happens all the time.
All the time. But one historical figure who learned this lesson the hard way was Nicolas Fouquet.
Oh, Fouquet. Talk about a cautionary tale.
So who was this guy?
Picture this, France in the 1600s. Fouquet, he's the finance minister to King Louis XIV, the Sun King himself.
Okay, already sounds important.
He was. And to impress the king, he decides to throw this over-the-top party at his chateau.
Okay.
We're talking nobles, artists, the whole court's invited. Even the famous playwright Molière makes an appearance.
Wow. Molière. This is no ordinary garden party then. This is a big deal.
Oh, it was huge. Imagine gardens filled with, these crazy fountains and sculptures, a 7-course dinner with every delicacy you could dream of.
Oh my goodness.
And to top it all off, a fireworks display that, legend has it, actually outshone the stars.
Oh, now this is starting to sound a little excessive.
A little. This party was legendary.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Louis XIV, he was known as the Sun King for a reason.
Yeah, I'm sensing some symbolism here.
Right. The sun is supposed to be the brightest thing in the sky.
True.
And Louis, he liked it that way.
So when Fouquet threw this lavish party, was he trying to outshine the king? Or was it just a case of, really bad judgment?
It's hard to say for sure, but whether Fouquet intended it or not, Louis XIV saw this party as a direct threat to his authority.
Uh-oh. This can't be good. What happened?
Well, let's just say Louis XIV was not known for his forgiving nature. He had Fouquet arrested and imprisoned for life.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
All that over a party?
That's the thing about power. It's often about perception more than anything else.
Wow, talk about a party foul.
Yeah.
So the takeaway here is, no matter how impressive our achievements, maybe avoid overshadowing the person who signs our paychecks.
It's a timeless lesson. And you know what's funny? Greene actually contrasts Fouquet with another historical figure who completely understood this law, but instead of ending up in prison, he basically earned himself a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Okay, who are we talking about?
Galileo,
Telescope guy?
the one and only. Galileo found himself in a bit of a tricky situation. He was a brilliant astronomer, right? But back then, scientists relied on wealthy patrons for funding. No patrons, no fancy telescopes, no groundbreaking discoveries.
Oh, I can only imagine having to please your benefactors while also pursuing scientific truth.
Right. So when Galileo discovers these 4 moons orbiting Jupiter, he knows he stumbled onto something big.
Okay.
But instead of just, announcing his discovery to the world, he gets strategic.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. Who does he set his sights on? Ooh, I'm intrigued. Who does he set his sights on?
The most powerful family in Florence, the Medicis.
Ah, the Medicis. Talk about power players. What did Jupiter's moons have to do with them, though?
Well, their family symbol, it was Jupiter.
No way. So it was perfect.
It was written in the stars, right?
Okay, so what does he do? He pulls out his telescope and is like, hey, Medicis, check out these moons. They kind of look like your kids.
Basically, he dedicates the 4 moons to the 4 sons of Cosimo de' Medici.
Wow, that is seriously clever.
Right. It's not just a discovery. It's like cosmic PR.
It's like, hey, if you want your family to be written in the stars forever, you got to, fund my research.
Exactly. And the Medicis, they ate it up. Galileo becomes the official court astronomer, gets a nice salary, job security.
Talk about shooting for the stars.
Literally. And it all goes back to understanding power dynamics.
Right. It's not just about, not stepping on toes. It's about knowing how to position yourself and your work in a way that benefits everybody.
Especially those in power.
Word. Okay, so we've gone from lavish parties and some pretty bad decisions to the art of, Cosmic PR.
And now we're moving on to a law that's, well, it might make you want to rethink some relationships.
Oh, this is where it gets really good.
Law number 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies.
Wait, hold up. Did we just become best friends for this deep dive? Because now I'm a little concerned.
No, don't worry. It's not that you shouldn't trust your friends, but Greene is saying when it comes to power, be careful.
Okay, that makes sense.
Blind trust can be a liability.
So where do enemies fit into all of this?
Well, to illustrate his point, Greene takes us back a few centuries to the Byzantine Empire. Intrigue, betrayal, you name it.
Okay, you've definitely got my attention. Give me the historical drama.
So we've got this young emperor, Michael III, who inherits the throne. And like many rulers before him, he surrounds himself with, well, people he thinks he can trust.
Sure, you got to have your inner circle, right?
Exactly. And in Michael's case, his most trusted advisor, his best friend in the world, is a guy named Basilius.
Okay, so what's the catch? There's always a catch, right?
Oh, there's a catch. Now, Basilius, he wasn't exactly born into royalty. In fact, he was get this, a former stable hand.
Wow, from stable hand to royal advisor, that's quite the promotion.
It is, and it speaks volumes about Michael's character, right? But Basilius, well, let's just say power has a way of changing people.
Uh-oh. This is where it all goes wrong, isn't it?
Sadly, yes. Basilius, he gets a little taste of power and decides, why share when you can have it all?
Okay, I'm officially nervous. What did he do? Okay, I'm officially nervous. What did he do?
Well, remember Michael's uncle Bardas, a skilled politician, but Basilius saw him as a threat.
Oh, okay.
So he orchestrates this elaborate plot to get rid of him, and it works. Bardas is assassinated.
Oh, no.
And with Bardas out of the picture, Basilius sets his sights on the ultimate prize.
The throne.
He wouldn't.
Oh, but he does.
No. Oh, yeah. Michael, his own best friend, ends up assassinated. And to really drive the point home, Basilius, he parades Michael's severed head through the streets of Constantinople as a warning to anyone who dared challenge him.
Talk about adding insult to, well,
Brutal, right. It's a chilling reminder that power can corrupt even the closest of bonds.
It really makes you think twice about who you trust, even outside of, palace walls,
Absolutely. And that's what's so fascinating about this law, because Greene isn't saying go befriend your enemies. He's highlighting the strategic advantage of understanding your enemies, maybe even using their ambition to your benefit.
Okay, so how do we do that without, resorting to any 9th century tactics?
Right. No head parading necessary. Let's look at Emperor Sung of China. He had a totally different approach.
Yeah.
He inherits this kingdom, right, where, bloody coups were basically a national sport.
Oh, so every day was like Game of Thrones, but in China.
Basically. And Sung knew that just executing his rivals wouldn't solve anything.
Yeah, it would probably just make things worse. More people wanting revenge and all that.
Exactly. So he tries a different tactic, radical generosity.
Okay, I am intrigued.
He showers his potential rivals with lavish gifts. We're talking palaces, lands, titles, you name it.
Wait, really? He just gave his enemies all this stuff.
He did, but with a catch. All those gifts, they came with one condition. The recipients had to move far, far away from the capital.
Oh, I see. So he neutralized his enemies by making them dependent on him and also, geographically removing them from power.
Precisely. It was brilliant.
That is some next-level 4D chess right there.
Did it work? Like a charm. Sung's dynasty went on to rule for centuries, and it was marked by, unprecedented stability.
Wow. So sometimes the best way to deal with an enemy is to, not make them an enemy in the first place.
Right. Or at least to find a way to align your interests so that you're both working towards a common goal.
This is blowing my mind. So from lavish parties and betrayals to, strategic gift-giving, we've covered some pretty intense power dynamics today.
And this is just 2 laws. Imagine what other insights are hidden within the pages of the 48 Laws of Power.
Right. It really makes you think, if power dynamics are a game, are we playing to win, or are we just pawns in someone else's game?
Ooh, that's a great question. And it's something for all of us to consider, no matter where we find ourselves in the grand game of power.
That is a perfect place to leave it. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the 48 Laws of Power. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding these dynamics can help us navigate the world with a little more, strategic brilliance. Until next time, stay curious